Your doctor told you that animal fat raises cholesterol, which increases your risk of heart disease. Therefore, carnivore, being an all-meat diet, increases your risk of heart disease, so you can't possibly do that. My doctor not only told me that, but predicted I wouldn't last a year. It's been a year. Now, I'm not a doctor or even a nutritionist. I'm Violet, and 7 years ago, I went against the grain by eating a high-fat diet and healed all of my medical problems and lost 80 pounds. I'm going to share what I learned from the doctors and research that I found that erased my fear of fat and cholesterol so that hopefully you can do the same thing that I did and get your life back. After more than 30 years of being told that high cholesterol causes heart disease, I learned that our body makes more than 70% of the cholesterol that's in us.
Looking at your total cholesterol doesn't really give you a lot of information in relationship to predicting heart disease. Okay, that's number one. Number two, your body makes 75%. 25% comes from diet.
The medical system has us fighting against our body's natural processes. So, before we decide that our doctor knows best, we should actually know what cholesterol is doing in our body. Because whenever cholesterol is discussed, it sounds like some kind of toxin because we're encouraged to keep it as low as humanly possible. If we could get it to zero, they make it sound like that would be ideal. The problem is, cholesterol is needed to do stuff like make hormones. So ladies, those irregular periods that we have, or the mood swings that we have, even the hot flashes that we have in later life, are all associated with low hormone levels. Osteoporosis, another women-centric health issue that we have, associated with low estrogen. And for you men out there, don't worry, I didn't forget you. It's true, you guys do struggle with bone density issues as well. And sometimes you have trouble putting on muscle, feel extremely fatigued, and you have that dreaded ED issue that are all associated with low testosterone. Cholesterol is needed to make our hormones. Cholesterol is needed to make vitamin D, cell membranes, bile. The list of things that cholesterol is needed for is long, Wellness Warrior. I want you to do something for me. Do that. Grab your arm. Touch your body. Those are cell membranes. You are touching our body is made up of cells, which are encased in cell membranes. We can't even exist without cholesterol because it's integral in our cell membranes. That's our entire body, Wellness Warrior. Cholesterol is not just healthy, it's necessary. And yet, every person who's new to keto and carnivore is shocked, I'd even say panicked, when they learn that their cholesterol has gone up because of the changes they've made to their diet. And then what happens is most people, when they learn this information from their doctor, will quit keto because, well, those animal fats are raising my cholesterol. Well, wait. We need to pause, Wellness Warrior. It's true that animal fat does have cholesterol. I can't even begin to pretend that it doesn't. But we are animals. And so therefore, when we lose weight, we are breaking down the fat that's on our body, and that fat gets released back into our body, so into our blood, along with the cholesterol.
When you lose weight, the fat cells actually shrink. They don't go away completely. You can't get rid of a fat cell, but you can shrink it. Inside that fat cell, you have triglycerides and you have cholesterol. So as the fat cell shrinks, you can burn triglycerides for fuel, but you cannot burn cholesterol. It's not a fuel source. So what's going to happen? It's going to have to be eliminated through the body as you lose weight. It comes out of fat cells and the cholesterol it's going to increase in the blood. It's going to go through the liver and it's going to come out through the bile. As you get closer to your weight loss goal, that will level out and come back to normal.
We are animals, and normal animal biology does apply to us. And I'm going to pause right there. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to come into my comments angrily typing the fact that we are made in God's image and how dare I call us animals. I want to make sure that everybody understands that we aren't gods, and therefore we're subject to the laws of all animals. But that mindset that we are above the animals, we're better than the animals, that is what allows companies to mislead us. They train our doctors to brainwash us into believing that cholesterol is the devil and should be as low as humanly possible. And that means that we get our cholesterol down into ranges that it should never be. Do you realize that just 45 years ago, our cholesterol levels were not this low?
Prior to the 1980s, anything below 300 in total cholesterol was considered normal. You had to get way over 300 before they considered that high. But then in 1987, the first statin medication, the first cholesterol lowering medication was approved. The National Cholesterol Education Program. Wasn't that nice of the government to come out and start educating the public on cholesterol the very same year that the first medication was available? And now pretty much overnight, normal cholesterol went from 300 down to 200, and anything over 240 was considered high. But not only did they start prescribing medication for people over 240, a lot of people started getting scared, and they said, well, if I'm borderline high, then we should probably take this pill anyway. But then in 1993, we get the second version of the NCEP. And now we see that less than 130 is considered desirable. 130 to 159 is borderline high, and anything over 160 is considered high. In 2001, we get the NCEP of the third edition. But the big difference again is that what used to be okay, less than 130, is not okay anymore. Now you need to get under 100. But they don't even stop there. They are saying that if you are high risk, now you should try to get your LDL under 70. We see that the limits get lower every time. But this is not based on evidence. There are not studies being conducted that clearly show that people live longer and that people get healthier. They're changing the definition of who is sick. So basically what we're talking about is marketing disguised as healthcare.
I really want us to think about the reality of our world since 1980. We eat more junk food, more processed seed oils, more garbage than we've ever eaten in our history. We are fatter, we are less healthy, and we are constantly complaining about our health. And yet we don't know how to solve this. Why don't we know how to solve it? I think it's because our food and health guidelines apparently have been based on medical patents, not what's best for our health. The fact that what we consider healthy cholesterol has changed that much in such a short period of time, Wellness Warrior, doesn't make any sense, especially when there is zero research to show that our original numbers needed to be changed. So what do those changing numbers actually mean for our health? Because it's absolutely normal for my total cholesterol to rise if I'm losing weight. And there's more than one kind of cholesterol, right? There's even more than one kind of LDL cholesterol. So since it's only the small, dense LDL that's even remotely dangerous, we have to ask ourselves now this new question. Where does that LDL, that small, dense LDL come from? Why do I have more of it than I should have in my body?
Here's what you need to know. Cholesterol is not going to affect the inside of the arteries unless there's first some type of lesion, some type of erosion on the inside of the arteries, where the small dense type LDL can then penetrate because they're small and start developing plaquing. This comes from a high carb diet. It comes from consuming the wrong types of foods. When you're doing a healthy version of keto, where you're doing higher fats, lower carb, moderate protein, guess what? You're going to get into ketosis. You're going to start burning fat.
Cholesterol is not the enemy because the body would not make so much of it if it was a bad thing. What messes up the system is insulin resistance, it is metabolic dysfunction, it is oxidative stress and inflammation. And what causes those is from an unnatural lifestyle. And we don't even understand what real food is anymore. We've introduced all these strange things, such as excess sugar, excess alcohol, seed oils, chemicals, heavy metals, electromagnetic fields, and we have a lack of movement, and we have a lack of sleep and fresh air.
Our bodies want to heal, but we keep eating garbage. You and I have been trained to eat like everybody else. And when any issues arise, there's a pill for that. But even the pill for high cholesterol does not actually solve the problem. And what I've done is I've linked Dr. Ekberg's video below for those of you who want more details on that, because I'll tell you the truth, I can't even talk about it without getting so pissed that I start ranting and feel angry like I'm feeling right now, because I don't understand how anybody could look at this information and say that they're not doing this to us on purpose. So, since Dr. Ekberg took the time to calmly explain why taking a statin should never happen, why you need cholesterol for good health, even LDL cholesterol for good health, I encourage everybody to please go watch the video. It's linked below. Because we need to keep in mind, Wellness Warrior, that our body is a system. As you might recall from my interview with Dr. Georgia Eid, anytime that we try to force something different than what our body wants, our body recalibrates, our body adjusts. It does this by this mechanism called homeostasis. That means that when we take a pill to lower cholesterol, our body will counter that. Ratios are important, and your body is always trying to keep you in a healthy position by keeping those ratios proper and on target. So if you eat less cholesterol, your body makes more. If you eat more cholesterol, your body makes less. And by the way, how do these pills impact our hormones? How do these pills impact our bile production, our cell membranes, vitamin D? How does the medications that they give us trying to target small, dense LDL, well, are they even trying to target small, dense? Apparently, I'm learning now they're not. Trying to target just LDL of any kind. How do those medications impact our health? Nobody is talking to us about these things from what I can tell, because I've asked many of my family and friends who were offered statins, some of them are taking statins, and none of this was discussed. Our goal is supposed to be to have the right amount of cholesterol so that the cholesterol can accomplish all the very important functions that it has in our body. Dr. Ekberg very clearly points out that insulin resistance, inflammation, and oxidative stress are what is causing our problem, and that they come from overeating carbohydrates, eating chemicals, which include taking pills, vitamins, and supplements. If you're asking me, those are included in chemicals, alongside of drinking alcohol and all of the pollution that we can't get away from because it's surrounding us, whether it's in our air, in our water. It's contributing to ruining our health. Unhealthy bodies tend to be overweight, Wellness Warrior. We spend so much of our time fighting with our body to try to force it to have lower cholesterol, lower weight, better skin, all these things that our body would typically give us if it were healthy. A healthy body regulates its weight and all the internals. Should you be worried about high cholesterol if you're doing keto or carnivore? Dave Feldman put out some research recently, and I'm excited by it because he had 100 participants who were doing a keto diet, and these people had high LDL. As a matter of fact, I can't even say high. They had extremely, very high LDL.
We recruited 100 participants who were also on a keto diet with sky-high LDL cholesterol and low risk factors. They each got one high-resolution heart scan and then a second scan 1 year later for comparison. There was no association between the levels of LDL cholesterol and the progression of plaque, and this even applied to those with the very highest levels of LDL. We found the amount of plaque in the initial scans were very predictive of future plaque progression, but LDL, or ApoB for that matter, does not.
Plaque progression was more highly associated with where you started. If you had a lot of plaque, you were more likely to have progression than if you started with very little plaque. And Wellness Warrior, if this isn't a ringing endorsement to start keto as soon as possible, I don't know what is. A keto diet absolutely diminishes your interaction. So you eating highly inflammatory foods, processed foods, highly inflammatory. High sugar foods are highly inflammatory. The sooner you remove inflammatory foods from your diet, the sooner you decrease your risk of heart disease. We don't just get sick because we get older. We get sick because we spend the first 30 years of our life eating garbage. And then the years that follow, we're trying to force our bodies to be healthy by taking medication, chemicals, which contribute to our health problems. Don't get me wrong, Wellness Warrior. Some people's bodies fail in their 20s. I've even known people whose bodies failed in their teens, and they need medication sooner than the rest of us. But we need to understand that the cause of the fail is still the same. Our young people are eating garbage earlier and earlier. They are weaned onto garbage. Processed baby food, processed cereals, everything that our little kids are eating is processed. And then they're getting sick in their teens and early 20s, and we're acting like we don't know why. The last 45 years has changed so much for what healthy food I'm going to go back further than that because I think it started way before that. Human bodies need real food, meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, real food to be healthy. Depriving our body of real food has real consequences. If you are young, start eating keto now. If you have children, start them on keto now. The earlier we do this, the better, because good health is something we should be working on from day one, Wellness Warrior. If you aren't subscribed with the bell turned on, if I were you, I would do that now. It takes people 5 to 20 times of hearing the same information to change their mind on what they've been previously brainwashed on. So you want to know when my next video is going live so that you can get in there, listen to it on repeat. Now, I want to hear from you, Wellness Warrior. What do you think of this information that I just presented? Are you worried about your cholesterol levels? And throw a bacon emoji on the comment so that I know that you made it all the way to the end of the video. I love knowing when Wellness Warriors have made it to the end because I know that you're active in trying to heal your body. That makes me so excited, and I make another video. Now, here's a series for anyone who's new to keto. I've linked that series also in the description, and it's the first pinned comment so that you can leave your comment first, and then I'll see you in that video series. So click on that link, and I'll meet you soon.